Happy Friday!
Finally.
It is cover to cover time here at Nash Community College, and I'm really excited about this week's episode because we're kind of on topic right now. So we're going to be talking about the master of horror novels and also other kinds of novels too. He doesn't write just horror, but Stephen King. And as we know that It just came out yesterday in theaters, the new version, not the old Tim Curry version as Pennywise, but the new version of It just came out yesterday.
The creepier one.
And I cannot wait to go see this. It's
have it.
I'm not really usually good with scary movies, so it should be interesting to see how this turns out.
I love scary movies.
I'll be freaking myself out.
I don't do clowns.
I'll be freaking myself out a little bit. But so yeah, I'm really excited to talk about Stephen King today. Like I said, it's a very appropriate topic.
Extremely.
For what's going on right now. And also I just want to real quick shout out to all my friends who are in Florida with the hurricane coming up. Get out of there.
Please.
Get out of there. Irma's a-coming. Irma Gerd, it's Irma. So just run away. Come stay with me. I wanted to throw that out there. So anyway, so speaking of scary,
oh my Lord.
That was terrifying. But seriously, be safe. Anyone who's in the path of that hurricane.
Once we figure out if we're in the path or not,
yeah.
I plan on hightailing it out, hopefully, of
yeah.
North Carolina.
And it's one of those, it's like, you know, don't try to ride something like that out.
No.
Just get out of there. So anyway, I got that out. So
we have our PSA announcement done.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure, you know, with everything going on, it's a good platform to be like, get out of there, Floridians. So okay.
Anybody in general who's in the path.
Yeah, but especially Florida.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, so like I said, speaking of scary stuff, here are my picks for my top 5, well, not my top 5, but 5 Stephen King.
I'm pretty sure I took like 3.
I'm pretty sure you did. So this should be interesting. The first book I'm going to talk about is Carrie, which was Stephen King's first novel. So it's good that it's the first one that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
It was written in 1974. It was his first published novel. It's about a girl named Carrie who's this misfit who is bullied by her classmates at the school, and she has this super like fundamentalist, uber scary Christian mom. Who
very suffocating.
Very much so. She's a smother.
A smother, definitely.
She's a smother. And she is, I'm trying to think, so Carrie's kind of quiet and she discovers that she has these telekinetic powers.
Yeah.
And
I think it would be more than just the telekinetic though, because I mean she can do a lot.
Well, yeah, well she can move stuff with her mind.
She can start stuff on fire.
Yeah, so she's telekinetic, and her mother is like super vindictive and super unstable, and like when something happens, like she locks Carrie in the prayer closet.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. And there are a couple of really iconic scenes, like when Carrie first gets her period
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom of the gym locker room, and people
right
are throwing,
here actually.
Yeah, and people are throwing you know, sanitary napkins and tampons and things at her,
screaming, "Plug it up, plug it up!"
Yeah.
And then because her mother has
never told her anything about that, so she has no idea what's happening.
She just knows that.
And then of course you have the all-time famous scene of when she's at the prom and they dump pig's blood on her.
They messed up.
Yeah,
they messed up.
So that's all I'm going to say, because it's it's something that a lot of people have either read the book or seen one of the variations of the movies.
The movie is really good. The new one that we're playing behind us, oh my God.
But the original is my favorite with Sissy Spacek, because she's, to me, one of my favorite actresses.
She's one of my favorites that's in this. So.
But this is a book that people are either familiar with the film or they've read the book. Mm-hmm. Read the book. It's neat to me that it's Stephen King's first. Because it is actually definitely one of his best.
Yeah.
So Carrie, by Stephen King. The next one I'm going to talk about is Cujo. Have you ever read Cujo?
I don't think I've ever read it.
So Cujo, essentially, it's pretty simple. Well, it came out in 1981. It won the British Fantasy Award, and Stephen King says he barely remembers writing it. Because he was drinking heavily at the time.
Okay.
And he says that he wishes that he could remember like some of the best parts, like putting them down on paper, but he can't. And it's so, basically it's about, it kind of covers these two families in, I think it's Castle Rock, Maine. And they both have, one of them has a St. Bernard named Cujo, who is like a really lovable, happy-go-lucky dog until is bit by a rabid bat. And Cujo gets rabies and goes crazy pants and goes on a killing rampage. And honestly, that's all you really need to know about it.
Good dog goes psycho.
Yeah, so dog goes nuts. And Stephen King says, he's like, you know, the sad thing is it's a good dog, but that just, you know, something like that happens and, you know, his behavior completely changes.
Yeah.
So from a lovable, nice St. Bernard to a person killer St. Bernard. So that's always fun. So Cujo. And here's the film playing behind us.
Sorry, I keep seeing the blood
dripping.
It's catching my eyes.
It's kind of perfect. It's kind of perfect. So anyway, so Cujo. So that, like I said, there's not much I can really say about that too much.
Oh my God, the next one.
But so the next one is The Green Mile.
Oh my God.
Which technically was not a novel at first. It was a set of serials. It was 6 volumes of a serial. And it came out in 1996. And it tells the story of death row supervisor Paul Edgecombe and his encounter with John Coffey, who is an inmate on death row who has this amazing power for healing and really strong, like, empathetic abilities. And he's kind of this big softy, you know.
He's a giant teddy bear.
And but he's in
a giant lovable teddy bear.
But he's in prison for raping and murdering. And it's like, it's one of those, you're like, I don't see that happening with this guy. You know what I mean? You can't.
He wants nothing more to help people.
Yeah, and so
like the only reason that they punished him for this is because he was with them when it happened. He was trying to help them and make them better and bring them back.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay, we're just gonna put him in death row. And
it's and they call it the Green Mile because the floor on death row is green.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rant. This movie makes me sob every single time I watch it.
It will. It will. And
it breaks my heart. Like, I can't watch it by myself.
But yeah, so it was originally 6 serials until it was republished as 1 solid volume. So a full-length novel. Yeah, it'll make you cry. It'll make you absolutely weep. But
just watching the trailer is gonna make me cry.
But it touches on Stephen King's kind of his ability with, like, supernatural. Because if you notice, like, a lot of his characters do have these kind of supernatural abilities, whether it's telekinesis or pyrokinesis or healing abilities or what have you.
See, all that's going through my head right now is him saying, I'm tired, boss, and I just want to go cry and hide in a corner.
The next one that I'm going to talk about is 11/22/63, which is one of Stephen King's more recent novels. So it's all about, it's actually his 40th novel that he ever published. So Stephen King is a busy guy.
Obviously.
He's a very busy guy.
Very well-known busy guy.
And a fun fact about him was that one of his pen names was Frederick Bachman. Not Frederick Bachman. Something Bachman, because he heard Taking Care of Business, or You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet by Bachman Turner Overdrive on the radio one day, and he used that as his last name. So it's one of his pen names. So 11/22/63 is the date of John F. Kennedy's assassination. And it's about this English teacher who goes back in time. They find this portal, and he goes back in time, and he's transported. Every time you're transported to September 9th, 1958 at 11:58 in the morning. Every time you go through, and no matter how long,
played by James Franco.
And no matter how long you are there, whether it's you stay for years,
same time.
for no matter how many years you are in that time, whether you come back and it's only been 2 minutes. So
that's insane.
So what he tries to do is the past doesn't want to be altered, so it'll throw obstacles in your way to keep you from altering it. And what he's going to try to do is to stop the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So which happens on November 22nd, 1963. And it's the other thing I found really interesting about this book is he goes back at one point to Derry, Maine, which is the town in it. and actually runs into two of the characters from it. So Stephen King kind of loops back into his own world that he's created, which I think is really interesting.
Remind me again why I picked that one.
But so he goes back and eventually he does stop the Kennedy assassination, but he has created all these different timelines now in doing that. So it changes what happens in the future. So everything that happens in the past has an effect on what happens in the future. So that's 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
Which, if you want to watch the show of the book, it's on Hulu. And oh my God, that show is really good. And I finished the whole show.
You did?
I finished the entire show, I think, in like, I want to say 4 days.
I have not watched the show. The
show's really good.
The book's amazing. I remember when my mom first read it, she was talking about how good it was and how interesting it was.
Yeah, and James Franco to me does a really good job in this show, portraying the emotions and everything like that. But anytime you put James Franco in something, it's normally really good.
Yeah, depending.
I said normally.
Normally. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is Firestarter, which I don't really have a ton to say about.
That's a surprise.
Other than the fact that so it's about this little girl. So her mother has these telekinetic powers, much like Carrie, and her daughter Charlie they find out pyrokinetic powers, which means she has the ability to set things on fire. So with her mind.
I have that one.
So the film actually came out. So the book came out in 1980, and the film stars a very young Drew Barrymore as Charlie, as you can see right there. But an interesting fact about this, so the television show Stranger Things takes a lot from a lot of the Stephen King novels, as you kind of do see. And this is one thing that it was compared to a lot. One novel was compared to was Firestarter, with her ability to do things with her mind. It's kind of crazy.
I'm still trying to finish that. It's like a small doses for me with Stranger Things.
It's a great one. And then also Charlie, the little girl, she has this kind of, not obsession, but that's something about she's going to change the sun. There's something she's going to change the sun, like that's her like big thing. And I wouldn't say a mission, but
that's
it's like
her goal.
A premonition is that she's going to change the sun. So
have fun.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you, Drew Barrymore, for freaking all of us out. And of course, this was pre-E.T. So
that movie's really good.
This is pre-E.T. So anyway, Firestarter, which all I can think about is the song Firestarter. So anyway, so those are the 5 Stephen King novels I have selected for this week. We're going to take a really quick break. When we be back, and
then it's my turn.
When we're back, we'll cover all of Bayleigh's picks right here on Cover to Cover.
Did you know Nash Community College offers 12 degree programs entirely online? Are you interested in information technology? Explore information technology systems, network management, systems security, healthcare informatics, or web design and administration. These 2-year programs are only a few of the online associate degrees offered through Nash Online. Students receive the same quality instruction and resources as on-campus students without ever stepping foot on Nash's campus. Learn more about Nash Online today at online.nashcc.edu.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome to back here on Cover to Cover. It is September 9th? No, 8th, 9th. I don't know.
9th.
What day is it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
All we know is it's Friday.
It's Friday. So we were talking about Stephen King.
It's the 9th. Because yesterday was the 8th, and that's when the movie came out. Yep.
So if yesterday was the 8th, then yes, today is the 9th.
Because I was thinking it came back out on the 8th.
So we're talking about Stephen King, the master of horror and supernatural, any kind of novels.
And the best ability I've ever seen to give little kids nightmares with their movies.
Oh, not just little kids, grown-up kids. Grown-up kids too. So we've covered my picks for Stephen King's best novels, and now it's Bayleigh's turn.
I don't know what happened with my list. I think I slightly lost my mind, but we'll see what happens with this. Burn, you don't do something. Okay, so my first one is going to be Gunslinger on
The Dark Tower.
Yes, and it actually just got republished, but the original was published in 1982. And basically what it is Roland Deschain, I think that's how it is.
Sure.
Deschain, something. he's the very last one of what's known as the gunslingers. So basically what he's doing is he's going around trying to find this guy called the Man in Black. Basically what he is he's, the Man in Black is somebody who brings the dead back to life and just starts a whole lot of stuff that don't really need to happen. But all this is happening in a different world that freakishly mirrors Earth and everything that we have here. So the whole time he's trying to do all that, he ends up getting thrown into Earth, which is what the movie is showing behind me. He's thrown into Earth, and this little kid's like, I can help you, and this, that, and other. And all the while, the Man in Black is played by Matthew McConaughey.
So wait, why is it called the Dark Towers series? Like,
Honestly, and I hate to admit this, it wasn't originally called the Dark Towers. It was called the Gunslinger series.
Oh yeah.
But when they redid it, they changed the title and they added some stuff to it.
Right.
Like some deleted scenes from the books, and changed the name to Dark Towers when they republished it in 2011.
Okay.
I want to say. But it's called the Gunslinger series because obviously he's the last gunslinger of his kind, and it's that other. But when it was renamed the Dark Tower, there was this one thing that was added to the books, if I'm not mistaken, and it was this one tower in their world where it sends you to Earth and it sends you to all these different places, and he's sitting there. The Man in Black is sitting there trying to go to different places and cause all the havoc that he's caused on his planet to Earth. And that's one of the big things with the gunslinger and the little kid in the movie that they're trying to prevent. So that
that makes sense.
The book is actually really good. I think I'm like halfway through it. It sucks you in.
I've heard really good things about the entire series.
Yeah. It sucks you in really well, and you don't want to put it down.
Yeah.
Because you want to know like what's happening and this, that, and the other.
Well, cool.
My next one, I have lost my mind. It's It.
It.
Oh my Lord! Please just don't do that.
You know, it was funny. I went to go check it out the other day, but someone's already reading it.
Just go watch the movie.
Yeah. Well, I've heard the book. I have a friend, my friend Samantha. She was talking about. She read the book, and she was like, "I don't know what got into me." Reading this book.
That book is seriously like this thing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, it's bigger than Harry Potter's. But she said it was
absolutely terrifying. So.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
if you don't like clowns, don't read this.
Which is why I don't know why I picked this, honestly. So originally it was published in 1987, and like you mentioned earlier, it's based in Derry, Maine, which is relatively known as a quiet, good place to live, good place to raise your kids.
And which is also a fictional place, too, that Stephen King created.
I don't know what happens, but he has this amazing ability to make these places seem so real.
Yeah, because I mean, that's just...
It's amazing to see, like, all of the little details he puts into this stuff, and it makes you really think that it's real until you're like, oh, wait, this is fiction. But, I mean, it's really...
The screen is flashing, and it's, like, freaking me out right now.
Particularly... Isaac, I hate you!
Oh, I'm done.
You do that part really quick while I calm down, because I can't function.
So it takes place in Derry, Maine, and
I hate you on so many levels right now. I hate you.
When the TV started flickering, I kind of knew that there was something going on.
God.
That's so it started flickering faster and faster and faster, and I kind of figured that something was going on. So, anyway.
Oh, my heart. I think you just gave me a heart attack.
So, it is this thing, and it changes to whatever you are most scared of, most afraid of. Kind of like the boggart from Harry Potter. But this little boy, there's a clown in the storm drain, and he's wearing all silver, and his name is Pennywise, the clown. And the little boy gets pulled into the sewer drain, and Bayleigh's going to have a heart attack or throw up.
Don't
she's gonna have a heart attack or throw up. And then there's this group of kids. They call themselves the Losers Club or something like that.
I think so.
The Losers Club.
Oh my God. Okay.
You good for now?
Oh my Lord! You just gave me a heart attack. Anyways, see if I can get through this one.
You can
without them doing that.
That's
again.
it. That's it. I guess.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
That's
So, like she was saying, he lives in a storm drain, and he basically brings your worst fears alive. And that's the house that they're talking about, where it basically stays, except like in the sewer. You'll see like the red balloon and all that different stuff in it. But all the adults have no clue what's happening.
I'm sorry. At me. Well, it's funny because I didn't know it was happening either until I saw the TV start flashing. I'm like, something's gonna happen.
I hear this thing over here popping.
Like that.
Yeah, that. That's why I was like,
is that
God.
okay? Yeah.
That's why I was like, let me just hide.
I love it.
Oh my God. Okay.
If
anyway,
they keep talking, I'm just gonna.
So the adults, like the adults that live in Derry, have no clue what's happening, and it's something that only the kids can see, or something only that goes after the kids, because the adults are like, oh, whatever, it's not real. But the kids in the movie grow up and they move away, except for one guy who's the bookkeeper at the library. So, and they have
like you do.
They have this one pack where if something were to happen and it came back like it does every 27 years, they come back and they kill it. And they put it to rest for good. And 27 years later, lo and behold, it comes back and it starts speaking. I swear to God, if you do this again, I'm running out of this place. But he comes back and they come back, and it's the whole story of them. It's flashbacks and them trying to actually figure out what's going on and facing their fears. So, yeah.
And I'm actually going to see this tonight with my buddy James.
You're insane.
So, I'm looking forward to this.
You're insane.
I'm also gonna have to maybe take some Xanax or something beforehand. Okay, so Misery, which is to me one of the freakiest things. They're all freaky, but this is pretty freaky too.
Yeah, this is like right below it for me. So this one was actually published a year after it, in 1988. And basically what it is Paul Sheldon, who is a best-selling novelist in the book, meets his biggest fan, which her name is Annie Wilkes. And lo and behold, she's not just his biggest fan. She's also his nurse, taking care of him after a really bad car accident. And just like taking care of him and helping him do like all this different stuff. But she's also holding him hostage.
Psycho.
Seriously. So it's really kind of cool to see, not really cool, but it's kind of freaky to see how she's this nurse, she's his biggest fan, and she is his psychotic.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms.
His captor.
Yeah. It's really, I don't know.
And
really
Kathy Bates is terrifying in this, so.
Yeah, that woman.
Yeah.
She's really good in a lot of her movies.
Well, she can do anything.
Yeah, she really can.
So Misery, and I know the big part is like when she hits his legs with a sledgehammer and
he couldn't feel it.
Re-breaks them. So okay, next one.
Okay, so Pet Sematary
with an S.
Yeah, it's not a C. My brother made me watch this when I was 13, and he was 6.
That's insane.
Yeah, he is insane.
That's insane.
But it was actually published in 2014 per Goodreads. Not sure if it was published before and republished, but
it was definitely published before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think it was a republished thing of it. But the Creeds move into this really big, really pretty house in rural Maine, and everything's kind of too good to be true in their opinion. So the father's a doctor. His wife is gorgeous. They have this very charismatic little girl and a brand new baby boy who was just born. I mean, they have it all. The good family, good jobs, the 2 kids, they have a good car, all this other stuff. But they found out that in the woods behind the house, there's something terrifying out there. And it's kind of one of the big sayings for the book is sometimes death is better, is one of the big things that it says on the back of it. Because it's blood-chilling, and you honestly, if you watch it, if you read it, you will be petrified.
Good to know. Good to know.
Petrified.
I'm glad to know that.
Trust me.
And then last but not least,
The Shining.
Oh, sorry. Shining.
What did you call it?
The Shining, as Isaac called it earlier. So anyway, The Shining, yes.
Originally published in July of 1980. Jack Torrance starts this new job at the Overlook Hotel. He's the off-season caretaker for the place, but it means that he has plenty of time to reconnect with family, he has plenty of time to spend with his son, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But he also gets to work on his writing while he's there. When the winter comes, it gets a lot more eerie and a lot more
unsettling.
Extremely unsettling. You can definitely tell that something's off with this place the more you read into it.
And also, this is probably Stephen King's best known work of all.
Here's Johnny.
And the all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
Come play with us. Red rum.
But the only other person who notices anything going on in this hospital besides Jack is, I think it's his son. His 5-year-old son named Danny, who is uniquely gifted. But it's really kind of cool to see how the whole story kind of evolves, and they're the only two who notice anything wrong with it.
It's probably, I saw it, and it is probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, other than maybe something like, which I have not seen, like The Exorcist or something like that.
That's a really good movie.
I think this is probably the scariest thing I have seen. And I really do want to read the book, because I heard the book's absolutely incredible.
I think I'm gonna go home
but
and
also
watch
the
the
fact that Stephen King did not like the movie, because it was nothing like the book. So that's why I really want to read the book. But yeah, this is, Jack Nicholson, one of his best known roles. And I think the whole Here's Johnny thing was improvised.
Probably.
So anyway, but that is definitely, I think you could call that Stephen King's best known.
Here's my thing. When you see his face in this, and you see that one frame from the movie,
you know what it is.
Yeah, but no, the way that they depicted this on the cover, the guy they had play in the role, they kind of look alike in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think that's the point. I think they tried to make him look like, they made him look like Jack Nicholson. But, and the cool thing about The Shining is it's based on, Stephen King stayed at a hotel, I think it's Estes Park, Colorado.
Never going.
That is supposedly haunted, and wrote it after he stayed in one of the rooms that was supposedly haunted there. So yeah.
You can have at it. Nope. So, I'm staying within a 100-mile radius.
So anyway, so those are our Stephen King picks. So go see it.
Thank you for the heart attack.
It's out in theaters now. Also, make sure if you thought this episode was interesting, make sure to check out Big Bang Cinema's 25th episode about Stephen King featuring Isaac and Tyler.
I promise you, that's never going to be boring with those two.
Yeah, and it's sure to be great. They know so much, and I know Tyler also is like a huge Stephen King fan. So make sure you tune into that. Check it out on YouTube on our page, Nashcom College, and take a look at that. So anyway,
I'm gonna go hide and cry now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go take a Xanax before I have to go see it. So anyway, so for Cover to Cover for this week, I'm Kate.
And I'm Bayleigh.
We'll see you next week.